Welcome to Suzan's Signature Success Show. Today we have the honor to welcome David Penn. Welcome, David. I am so grateful and blessed to have you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm a British director, film, theatre, opera, but we met during one of my masterclasses for actors about working in film, working with cameras. And I've been really concentrating on that for the last 10 years. So I'm not really I'm not any longer working in the, what I call the open marketplace as a director. But having directed theatre originally, in fact I've been directing actors now for, I almost hate to admit it, for about 45 years. So I've had a lot of experience, and when I came to work with film cameras at the BBC, I directed programs for all the terrestrial broadcast channels in the UK, including Sky, where I helped also produced a series for a time. I've directed over 100 hours of transmitted television drama. And through that time, I have come to understand something about how the camera works, and which has led me to give these masterclasses, helping actors understand better how to work with the camera, because the fact is, most do not. So I'm sharing what I've come to learn. And I say share because I'm not really a teacher. I don't know how to teach. I don't think of myself as a teacher. But I help actors understand better how to relate to the lens of the camera, as you saw, because you came and did that work with me as well.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. I would love to know more about you, and could you please share with us maybe most of your most top 3 values of you?
My first top what?
Top 3 values of life.
Values of life. Whoa. I think actually I think the most important value is integrity and honesty. Particularly in our business, there is nothing more obvious or worse than to to watch a poseur, because the right people see through it immediately, and it's a lie, and the camera particularly can pick it up. I think integrity, yes.
Okay. Can you share some success habits for us? What makes you successful?
Well, actually, it's interesting you say what makes me successful, because in actual fact, I don't think I am successful. If I was truly successful, I wouldn't have time to work with actors teaching them. I've been lucky enough to work at some wonderful places, like I was a resident director of the National Theatre in London, the Bristol Old Vic, at the BBC, and some people would call that success, but it's not in my terms. I mean, if I was hugely successful, everybody would know who I was, because it's a very public arena. So in the actual fact, last night I was thinking, why am I doing this? Talking to you, because you are talking to successful people and analysing what that might be about. And I don't see myself as successful at all, other than in the very niche area where I work, where I'm pleased to say that I have had a lot of success, or been able to help actors in terms of working with the camera.
I think, thank you again for being honest, and as I mentioned, it depends how you define success, of course, because I consciously choose the name Signature Success because for me signature success means vision for the future. Without vision, we are lost, I think, for myself.
I agree.
And could you please share what is your vision for the future, your signature success?
You mean me personally?
Personally, or maybe also professionally, if you want to.
Yeah. Well, the fact is, not a lot of actors know about me. The success I have comes from those who have benefited from my working with them, but there are a limited number. So actors find out about me through word of mouth generally, and I'm hoping that the book I'm writing at the moment about this work will make a difference. If a publisher takes it, then then more will perhaps hear about this, I think, important message I'm putting out for actors, because I can help them understand something which is generally not understood.
Thank you for the great job. I think if you are doing something with purpose, always will find the way. I wish you a lot of success with it. What I would love to know, maybe, if you share with us, what was the most difficult lesson you learned from life?
From life? Whoa. I would probably say discipline.
Discipline.
Because I find myself really thinking about all of this that this area that I work in all the time. So I never stop working in a sense, but at the same time, there's a huge practical side to it. A lot needs to be organized, and I have to say I'm not very good at that. Well, it gets done, but I like to be able to stop and let the mind range in my areas of exploration, if you like. So I think self-discipline is important.
Thank you. Is there something that you want to change in life? And if is, what is that?
In my life or the world?
The world, yes, in your life or world.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems in the world is the lot of women, actually. You know, I think that it's terrible the way women are disrespected in a large proportion of the world. And I think if they were respected more, and the world would be a better place, without any question at all.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. As I was attending the course you mentioned, I'm not teaching. I want to let others also to know what is unique in your masterclasses.
What am I saying, basically?
Yes, to elaborate what is unique in your masterclasses.
Well, let me put it this way. I think that, generally speaking, teachers, the drama schools, private coaches of actors, all address the acting process, of course. But when they do, they are actually addressing the acting process that is as relevant for theatre as it is for film. And when it then comes to film and cameras, they say the difference is you do less. But actually, it's not about doing less if you're going to be effective in front of the camera. It's about doing a great deal more of something completely different. And I think the general problem is that I have to say, with all due respect to some wonderful coaches and teachers, most of them are themselves unaware of what it is the lens of the camera is doing. And so I think what's unique about the work I do is that I can very quickly introduce actors to exactly what the difference is and actually what they could be doing to real effect in front of the lens. And it is the opposite in many ways of what is required of the actor on a stage in front of a live audience, which we could talk about in some detail, but it would go on, we could talk for hours about that, as you know, because you've come and done the work yourself.
I can add to that, I had really magical moments for others also to know. What makes an actor succeed?
Sexy.
Oh. No.
Well, put it another way. I mean, I think a lot of people say either the camera loves you or it doesn't. And I don't believe that's true in fiction. In fact, some of the greatest screen actors have been, for the want of a better expression, ugly. Or, in other words, it's what conveys to the lens, if the actor learns how to do it, is the spirit. And it's the spirit. It doesn't require an elegant face or a face with conventionally pretty features. In fact, it's nothing to do with... in other words, the power of sexuality is in the spirit, not in the configuration of the features on your face.
Okay. What is the most important thing an actor must know?
I think the most important thing that they must know is, well, again, it depends if we're talking about film or theatre, because they are such completely different mediums. In other words, if I can say, because then I can explain better, more clearly, yes, what it is I mean. In the theatre, the actor has to tell the story, has to interpret the character, interpret the role. If an actor doesn't do that, the story doesn't happen. There is no play for the audience to follow. In film, it's completely the opposite, because the lens of the camera is not able to see the story, which is a bizarre, well, it's a hugely significant thought, but the fact is it can't. It sits in a studio or on a location and watches the actors. It doesn't know anything of the story that they're a part of. Everything that surrounds the actor tells the story. In other words, the costume you're wearing will say what kind of person you are. Your surroundings will describe your socio-economic circumstances of the character. The scenes that come before, the scenes that come after, contribute to the telling of a story. It's a complete fabrication, which actually isn't even constructed not until you get to the edit, where the scenes can easily be rearranged, characters can be cut. In other words, this is why it's known as a director's medium, but it's much more an actor's medium than is generally recognized, because you have as an actor if you understand how to occupy the space in front of the lens, you have the opportunity to bring the story alive. In fact, as Quentin Tarantino says, the life in a scene has nothing to do with the script. And of course, actors coming from theatre, most do, are taught and know that it's all about what you say. But in film, what you say will be heard. It actually doesn't matter how you say it, which a lot of people would disagree with. But it's not about. It's about the spirit that you bring to the lens. the life that you bring to the lens, which the lens will recognize. It will recognize it in a way that we wouldn't with our naked eye. You can watch actors on a set in front of a camera during the making of a film, and you won't see what the lens will see when you look at it subsequently. And an actor just simply has to understand the difference and how to work with that. What was the question again?
The question is...
what does an actor need to know? Was it?
The most important thing to know for the actor.
The important to know?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Well done. No, the most important thing to know is what I'm talking about.
Okay, good. But I want to come back to the question, what makes an actor succeed?
Well, to succeed in a career, because that's a different thing to succeeding in a role. To succeed in a career, you need luck. I know a lot of wonderful actors who have never been successful in film. And there are a lot of what I might call second-rate actors. Sorry, any actors who are watching this, but there are actors who are not as good as some other actors, which we will probably all acknowledge, who have become very successful for commercial reasons. They've got lucky, actually. It's amazing how many actors will be cast in drama, in movies or series on television, will be cast simply because they have played even some very small role in an extremely successful movie. A producer and director will say, well, they were in Star Wars, so they must be wonderful, or whatever big movie they might have actually played a very small role, invisible role in. So a lot of guilt by association. And it really is, it is luck. What the actor really needs is tenacity. You know the word tenacity, which is to have to really keep a firm grip on their determination to be truthful and be true to their craft.
Amazing.
And then you hope to get lucky. I mean, it's the best way to describe it. It's a terrible thing to have to say, but that's why it's so cruel as a profession. And why so many actors are so insecure, because it's a difficult battle, and you need to be able to really hold to your integrity.
David, could you please tell the audience how they can reach out to you?
Absolutely. The best way is really through my website, which is www.thenakedface.com, the-naked-face.com. And there, if any, because really, this will, I think, only be of interest to actors, but if they would find there's a page on my site with dates ahead page where I announce where I'm going to be, and I'm lucky enough to be working all across Europe. At the moment we're talking in Berlin. Next month I go to Prague for a month, then to London, then to Paris, then some other questionable, I don't know where, some other places probably next year. But all my dates that I do know and my availability is there on my website.
Thank you. I really am very grateful